What is going on, world? What's up, YouTube? It's Zero here. Today I'm bringing you guys a brand new StarCraft 2 video. This one was played at the IEM Katowice and was one of the games within the round of 8 of that tournament. Spawning here in the top left hand corner of Port Alexander LE, playing with the red Protoss pieces. He's very well known in North America and a very fun StarCraft 2 pro gamer with the Protoss pieces to watch. His name is Neeb. And his opponent spawning in cross position, playing with the blue Protoss pieces. He's very well known as one of, if not the best Protoss player currently on the planet. His name is Stats. So, guys and girls, this is as we said, one of the games within the round of 8 of the IEM in Katowice, which of course is pretty much the second biggest tournament of the year to BlizzCon, as many have said. And I will tell you this, I'm excited about this series because these are two incredible Protoss players in the world of StarCraft 2. They are very enjoyable to watch. And so we're gonna see very early on here the kind of tone this series is gonna take. Because both players, of course, they want to take an early lead in the series. Stats, of course, as I said, is one of, if not the best Protoss player on the planet currently, is an absolute force to be reckoned with the Protoss pieces. And Neeb, this guy has been consistent for a very long time. Kind of had an off year in 2018, and you know, I'm excited to see kind of what he does here moving forward. But as we can see from the early stages of this game, we're going to see the double gateway into the cybernetics core out of Neeb. It does look like he is going to proxy a pylon short, a little bit away from his main base location. And then on the opposite side, we're going to see the double gateway in the cybernetics core, which is very standard for both players at the early stages of the game. We are going to see the Stargate coming in now for Stats. So this is very interesting early on. So we see a pylon here, little proxy pylon, but then we also see, of course, the Stargate from Stats that's starting, just a proxy Stargate that's shortly, you know, it's a little bit out of range, I guess. Well, it's not necessarily out of range, but you get what I'm saying. Away from his bases, of course, and it looks like he might try to put a little bit of some pressure on to Neeb here early on. He's going to get a probe scout to see exactly what is going on. This probe was able to, for Neeb, was able to do a little bit of some scouting as well. But nonetheless, we are going to go ahead and we are going to see out of that cybernetics core, we're going to see the warp gate being researched for both players, the most standard upgrade for a Protoss player. And then we're going to see a couple of sentries coming out for Neeb. And then on the opposite side, we are going to see Stats getting an Oracle as his tech of choice out of the Stargate. Natural Nexus is down for Neeb. There's going to be a couple of these adepts are going to be able to shade into the main base location. They are going to go after some of these probes, and it looks like they are going to get a little bit of some value as this sentry does try to block off some of the one of the adepts at least, and it does look like they are going to have a really nice range though of these probes, doing a lot more damage than expected. And just like that, Stats is on the side of the map, and he is starting to do a good amount of damage now with an Oracle as well as an adept. Wow, doing so much damage here. Neeb is completely thrown off guard here as so many probes are absolutely getting decimated right now. This mineral line is being absolutely destroyed, and GG is called. Wow! Stats takes an early 1-0 lead over Neeb in a surprising fashion that completely threw Neeb off guard. I hope you guys did enjoy this game between Neeb and Stats, and if you guys did, leave a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, stay positive, and I'll see you guys all in game number 2. Alrighty everyone, well, game number 2 in this best of 5 series that was played at the IEM Katowice has us found on Cyber Forest LE. Spawning here in the bottom right hand corner of the map, playing with the blue Protoss pieces. He's currently up in this series and wants to keep this series rolling in his favor. His name is Stats. And his opponent spawning in the top left-hand corner of the map, playing with the red Protoss pieces. He's currently down, but certainly not out of it just yet. His name is Neeb. So, guys and girls, what a crazy end of that first game. Absolutely mind-blowing. I mean, just how stats, you know, it was more, I feel, about Neeb than about stats there, because the reaction time for Neeb was just so slow as far as trying to deal with a couple of adepts and then the Oracle in his main base location. I mean, absolutely crazy how that ended up happening. I mean, stats ended up going for the proxy Stargate, getting a couple of adepts into the main base location, and just totally threw Neeb off guard. And I have not seen anything like that in a long time, where it completely threw Neeb off so much, where he was not even able to recover in the slightest, and he just decided to GG out very early into that game. And so, what an intense first game there. That was extremely quick, and I was not expecting it to be so quick there. It just felt that a couple of adepts were doing so much damage, so much more damage than I would have thought, and I think the unit composition of choice for Neeb just did not work out in that current scenario. He had the double sentries, and the sentries were trying to, you know, place force fields to split up the adepts, but they just weren't able to do enough damage in enough time, and it was just just unbelievable how that first game really panned out. I could not believe what I was seeing there. But nonetheless, Stats takes a 1-0 lead over Neeb early on in the series, really taking a quick lead over Neeb. And now the question is what is Neeb going to do when you're down 1-0 against arguably the best Protoss player on the planet? What do you do in this current situation? Well, as it looks, he's going to go for a single gateway into the cybernetics core, and he's going to go ahead and expand early. So I like that decision actually quite a bit. We are going to see the double gateway into the cybernetics core for Stats, and it looks like he's going to begin that warp gate research as well. Looks like this probe is done for. And it looks like Neeb did block off the main base location, trying to be a little bit of a nuisance to Stats. But nonetheless, we are going to see the follow-up now, which is going to be the robotics facility, followed up with another gateway. So both players going ahead, they're getting the very early warp gate research in. And at this point, it does look like Stats is going to scout exactly what's going on this side of the map. It does look like Neeb did block it off so that he's not going to see exactly what's going on, which there's nothing really that Neeb is hiding at this point. But nonetheless, we are going to see another gateway followed up here. Natural Nexus is finished. Warp Gate is going to be finished up here for both players in less than 10 seconds. And we're going to see the follow-up to that gateway with a robotics facility for Neeb. So pretty standard on both sides. It looks like Stats is really trying to shade in and just see what kind of information he can get. He's not really getting anything because of simply this wall off that has happened. And now it looks like the shades are going to come in once again. And again, it does look like the way that the way Neeb's playing this, he does not want Stats to know what is going on at all. And it looks like these units, once again, are going to be stopped from seeing what's going on. So the robotics facility is just finishing up. And I really like the way that Neeb's playing this. He's kind of baiting his opponent. And it looks like Stats is going ahead. He's getting his natural Nexus down as well. We're going to have a warp in here of some adepts. And now the adepts are going to start shading in once again. They're going to try to get some information. Beautiful force fields there by Neeb. Neeb gets to the surround on these adepts. I do like that, but it looks like a lot of these adepts are in that natural base location, and they are starting to do a little bit of some damage. The shield batteries are here, but there's a lot of units here by Stats. Stats is really has a good opportunity. Does take down that pylon that's powering all of those shield batteries, and here we go. It does look like the probes are being pulled off the line. This is a desperation move, as a lot of these units are just being target fired down. Stats, once again, is playing absolutely brilliantly, just reading his opponent like a book and knowing exactly when to attack, even though Neeb was baiting him very hard. The beautiful force field there by Stats, blocking off these units. Oh man, this is looking very dangerous for Neeb right now, and it's very worrisome. Now here comes an Immortal, but that Immortal is already low on health. But just like that, Stats takes a nice little lead there in this point in the game. And I really like that the decision making there by Stats to kind of push in. Looks like now he's going to smartly go back home, not going to overextend here. And just like that, there's an adapt that's in the main base location. I must have missed that. It looks like there was some drop play going in that main base location. But nonetheless, we are going to see kind of the follow-up now as we pass that 6-minute mark. Neeb's going to get a War Prism for himself. Looks like he's probably going to get those Immortal drops going. And now we're going to see both players kind of ramping up that production. Looks like we are going to see the Templar the Twilight Council coming out of Stats. And now he's going to start getting some Immortals of his own. So, very interesting play here. I gotta say, I like the position Stats is in right now, though. I really do. He got this Observer here, sees exactly what's going on. A War Prism is now going to be coming across the map. He knows exactly that is coming. And now we are going to see the double Immortal drops here. Looks like those Immortals are going to drop, and it looks like they're going to try to target fire down. This War Prism does not look like they are going to get it. Oh man, beautiful pickup micro there, to say the least, but it does look like these units are going to start target firing down. Once again, that War Prism, this could get really dangerous. You do not want to lose that War Prism. But just kind of some, you know, some jostling back and forth between both players. Look like both players are starting to get those upgrades. Look at the, you know, there's the production tab is very similar at this point. Temple Archives is going to be going down for Stats. We are going to see Charge being researched out of the Twilight Council for both players. We are also going to start seeing those +1 upgrades started by both players as well. Neeb is also following this up with 3 gateways of his own. He is still trying to get a little bit of some damage dealt here with, of course, those Immortals, but there's a lot of units there that are kind of able to push the army, or I guess those Immortals back in that War Prism back. So nothing, no crazy damage dealt as of yet. Did supply block Stats there for a moment, but we are going to see more and more gateways being added on here. So Stats is starting to really ramp up that production. The same can be said for Neeb, but we are going to see the Dark Shrine, and I like this decision a lot. We're going to start seeing Neeb's kind of transitioning now. And it does look like, though, Stats, just being the absolute genius that he is with the Protoss pieces, is going to see and scout that Dark Shrine. So he's going to know exactly what's going on. Very well played here by Stats. And this is what Stats does so well. He is just an absolute... I mean, he's a genius with the Protoss pieces, and there's just no question about it. One of, if not the best Protoss player on the planet. He's now moving, feeling confident going into that 3rd Nexus at this point as well. So Charge is completed now. We are also seeing Ground Weapons level 1 finishing up in less than 10 seconds for Neeb. And it looks like he is now just starting to get his Nexus. So his Nexus is going to be going out a little bit later than his opponent, but I gotta say, I just like the position Stats is in. Stats is just playing his opponent so well right now. He's just reading him like a book. Looks like the Archon drops are going to be coming. Double Archons going to be going into that main base location. Not a whole heck of a lot here to really stop it either, as those Archon pickups are going to come in, and it looks like the entire army is pushed back home. And so this is going to buy Stats some time. It's going to keep part of the army of Neeb at home. And now it looks like Neeb is going to try to do the same thing. Dark Templars are out, but we are going to see an Observer is going to be out here for Stats. And it looks like he's going to be able to, you know, fend off against this, against these Dark Templar, at least for right now. Now, there is a cannon that is out, and that cannon is starting to get target fire down. If it goes down, not a lot of detection here, but here we go. It does look like those Dark Templars are going to be chased down. Oh my, does look like that Observer is here once again to kind of fend off against those Dark Templars. So Stats, even though all of that considered, Stats is in full control of what's going on as far as, you know, on his side of the map. Now, Neeb is certainly, guys, not out of this thing just yet. He's of course got Ground Weapons level 2 is going to be finishing up here shortly. It's finishing up in less than a second for Stats. It's going to be finishing up a little bit later for Neeb. But he's still got a nice army. He's got a tanky army of some Immortals, Stalkers, Adepts, you know, some Archons as well as some Sentries, and those Zealots are going to be there as well to help out. But there is just a massive army that is coming right towards Neeb's neck of the woods. And as we're approaching that 11-minute mark, the question is who's got the better army at this point? It's going to all come down to the micro here. Here we go. A big Warpin's also going to be coming. I wonder, Neeb does not look like he wants to take this, but it does look like Stats wants to force the altercation for sure, as he is starting to pose as a serious threat here to Neeb. But Neeb is, at some point or another, is going to have to make a decision as to what he wants to do, as a lot of these units are starting to go down here for Neeb. It looks like Neeb is going to try to set up possibly a surround here, as they are target firing down that third, or I should say that natural expansion. But here we go. Looks like Neeb's going to have the high ground, and GG is called. What? And Stats takes a quick 2-0 lead over his opponent. And you might be thinking to yourself that Neeb very well could be, I guess, prematurely GGing out of these games. And that might be true. I think the first game he definitely, I just think Stats played, you know, just completely threw Neeb off guard. I think in this case, I think Neeb could have fought a little bit longer, but if you look at that supply count, 166 to 108, it was only a matter of time. Stats just had a nicer army, and I think, like, you know, those little battles in the very beginning and all that really good defense that Stats had really translated to good offense, and that's what was the tail of the tape, and now Stats takes a 2-0 commanding lead over Neeb. I hope you guys did enjoy this game between Stats and Neeb, and if you guys did, leave a thumbs up, subscribe for new, stay positive, and I'll see you guys all in game number 3. Alrighty everyone, well, game number 3 in this best of 5 series finds us on New Repugnancy LE. Spawning here in the bottom left-hand corner of the map, playing with the blue Protoss pieces. He's currently up in this series and wants to finish and close out this series right here and right now. I'm talking about Stats. And his opponent, spawning in the top right-hand corner of the map, playing with the red Protoss pieces. He's currently down, but certainly not out of it just yet. His name is Neeb. So guys and girls, this has been a very intense but a bizarre series, to say the least, for me, for a couple of reasons. But number one, I would say, is Stats throwing Neeb so far off guard in game number 1, where he sends a couple of Adepts and he has a proxy Stargate sending in an Oracle, and Neeb having no response for it whatsoever, and half or probably 75% of his mineral line in his main base was completely decimated. Throwing Neeb completely off guard is one thing, but then Stats goes into game number 2 and completely plays really good defense, but he has some really incredible timing attacks that kind of threw Neeb a little bit off once again, and it just posed a threat, as Stats' army, even though it looked kind of similar to Neeb's in size, Stats was just, he was posing such a threat going into that natural expansion and just doing so much, you know, doing a good amount of damage, and Neeb just had no response, couldn't figure out a good way of attacking and kind of taking on Stats' army. And so he GG out, possibly prematurely. I would say it was definitely a premature GG on Neeb's part. I mean, it was a matter of time probably until Stats would have won that game, but just very bizarre how Stats has absolutely outsmarted his opponent in this series. And I mean, we are talking about arguably the best Protoss player on the planet in Stats. And so, but Neeb, guys, is, I mean, this is a guy who is, you know, he's an absolute force to be reckoned with still. And I will definitely say that about Neeb for sure. I mean, he is a very good Protoss player. Plays a very, you know, straightforward game. He does go a little bit off book, you know, at times, but, you know, he's not the kind of guy who gets, you know, thrown off much. I have not seen that really ever out of Neeb being completely thrown off. He's coming off of a very weak year of 2018. And so, I mean, but at the same time, I still feel that Neeb has got a lot left in the tank. And so we're going to find out, though, what he's made of here in this game number 3. He's facing elimination to arguably the best Protoss player on the planet. What do you do in this situation if you're Neeb? Well, it does look like he's going to go for the double gateway into that cybernetics core, and then he's going to follow this up with a robotics facility as well as another gateway. His opponent, Stats, is going to go ahead and he's going to get the double gateways out as well as that cybernetics core, but he's going to go ahead and he's going to expand early here, and we're going to see that he's going to be researching the warp gate very early on, which of course is the most standard upgrade for a Protoss player. The same can be said for Neeb. Neeb's is going to be finishing up in less than 10 seconds, as Stats already finished up. And we're going to start seeing some adepts moving across the map. I mean, one thing that we can already agree on from this series so far is that Neeb has had a very difficult time handling Stats's adepts. The adepts have really done a lot of damage, whether they're being dropped into the main base or they're shading in to the natural of their main base. They've been posing such a threat to Neeb that Neeb really has had absolutely no response for it, other than just, you know, trying to, you know, block off his, or wall off his own base, you know, to not allow those adepts to get in there. But it does look like these adepts are baiting, once again, they are baiting the opponent, as in Stats is concerned, or as in Neeb, and so Neeb is now going to just take the fight over to Stats. He wants to take the fight over to him, and it looks like they are going to go ahead, and it looks like they have decided to mass recall back home, and here we go. It does look like Neeb wants to take the fight to his opponent. I like this decision a lot. Here we go. It does look like the shading's going to come in. Is Neeb overstepping his boundaries here, as it's going to be Stalkers versus some adepts as well as other Stalkers? But here we go. It looks like now he has been able to re-up his army, as in Stats, and there come the force fields. We are going to see one Immortal on the playing field as of right now, and Neeb, I do feel, though, what he needs to do to get back in this series, or at least to just get a win in the win column here, I really do think he is going to need to be aggressive on Stats. He can't allow Stats to really dictate the pace of this game. I mean, there's just no way that you can play that way and expect to beat the best Protoss player on the planet. You have got to be the guy who is going to put the pressure on and not overextend, play solid defense, and just continue with that pressure. And, you know, and that's something that Neeb has lacked in this series, and I would love to see him do a little bit of that here in this game. But it does look like Neeb wants to get aggressive, but you know, he's kind of being shut down right now by Stats so far. Stats is, you know, he's playing a pretty straightforward game. We are going to see the Twilight Council coming in, observers coming out, and that's one thing that Stats is so good at, is getting the information necessary that he needs to get in order to obtain victory or see exactly what his opponent's doing. It's all about information, guys. It's like a, you know, it's like a chess match, and you're trying to figure out what the opponent's doing, and, you know, what strategy they're going for, what unit compositions you're going to be going up against. And so that's exactly it. And, you know, I really like this change that Neeb is getting here. We're seeing disruptors coming out of the robotics facility, and I love that decision making by him. You know, he's switching it up a little bit. I love that. We are also, I was wondering if we were going to start seeing Colossus, or what we were going to start seeing out since that robotics bay did go down. So we're seeing changes here to the build orders, and I really think that this is smart by Neeb. I think, you know, it's a smart decision to go ahead and really, you know, start trying to change it up a little bit. Disruptor's going to be, looks like he's going to be doing a disruptor drop here shortly, but it does look like Stats is on the opposite side of the map. It looks like he's going to try to start doing a little bit of some damage here. It looks like the disruptor did decide to come back home. Oh my, I do not know if I like this decision, though. It does look like that disruptor hit is going to connect. Beautiful hit there. Gravitic Drive does finish up as well for Neeb. So I like the disruptors. I kind of like that. I think that's a really, I really think it's a nice change for Neeb at this point, and it does look like it's actually forced Stats to go all the way back home. And so neither one of these players is, you know, of course, dealt a killing blow as of yet. We are going to see Neeb going into that forge. He's also going to be getting his own Twilight Council. We're also going to see Stats is going to go ahead and start researching Charge out of the Twilight Council, and he's also going to be constructing a couple more gateways of his own. And so both players actually giving each other a lot of respect right now that they so rightfully do deserve. We are going to see Neeb go ahead and expand to his third Nexus, and once again, I don't know if I like it though. I don't know if I like that he's going for this third Nexus right now. I would almost wait a little bit. It looks like Stats is going ahead. He's getting his third Nexus as well. But at this point, I just feel like Neeb needs to just be putting on a good amount of pressure. And I know he's kind of trying to do it, but you don't want to overextend, and you lose the disruptors, or you lose that war prism. It could be absolutely devastating to your army. We are going to start seeing Colossus coming out. I like that as well. The Colossus are coming out, so I mean, this is going to be a very interesting, when these two armies do clash, it's going to be really interesting. Now, the mass recall does come. Oh my god! The mass recall was going to go in there for that war prism, but the Phoenixes caught it in Stats. Those are the little battles that end up helping you win the war in the end. He absolutely was just able to take out that war prism, and that's a huge pickup because it was holding two disruptors. Extended Thermal Lance finishes up for Neeb, which is, of course, the extended range on those Colossus. But, oh man, that was such a huge blow right there. That was a tough pill for Neeb to swallow there. Wrong place, wrong time. And I felt like Neeb was getting a little bit careless there when we were near his base. Over in this area, I felt like I didn't like the way he was maneuvering. I did not like how he was maneuvering the War Prism around Stats' army. I know he did get a immortal kill there, as well as like a Stalker for his troubles as well, but just a little bit careless there. And here we go. Ground Weapons Levels 1 is going to be finishing up in a couple of seconds, and Charge will be finishing up in less than 10 seconds as well for Neeb, but he is supply blocked currently, and here we go. Those Phoenixes are going to start picking up those Immortals, and that's going to be huge, as well as the Sentry. So here we go. It looks like Stats is going to try to slowly but surely take over this army, and that's exactly what he's doing. Is he overextending though? The Colossus are doing some damage from afar, but these Phoenixes are just having free range of the Colossus, and here we go. It looks like they are going to start moving in on the Colossus. Another one is going to join the fight, and GG is called, and Neeb, his supply plummeting once again. Stats just outsmarted his opponent. There's no better way to put it in this series. Outsmarted Neeb in this best of 5 series, winning it 3-0 and moving on to the semi-finals of the IEM in Katowice. I hope you guys did enjoy this game and this series between Stats and Neeb. And if you guys did, leave a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, stay positive. And as always, I'll talk to you guys all in the next one. Peace.